So we have a lot of Twitter questions that came through, and I want to get through some of them.
Yes.
I'm really sorry if I don't pick your question, but there were just so many, so we had to stop at a point where it's like, okay, we'll be here for like 5 hours. So
Shouts out Derek on Twitter. Okay.
So let's kick off with the first one. All right, Nick's
real ones know that. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, it's real. I haven't made these up, okay? These are real. Okay, so this is from @20something. Nick spends most of the film in a really dark place, and because of your weight loss, I imagine it was hard to fully separate yourself from the character at the end of the day. How did that affect you mentally, and how did you work through it?
Man, that's a really great question. Again, like, I always feel, I have to say, like, that Nick actually went through this, so losing weight for it is not, actually going through it. And yet, I like that they bring up the weight loss thing, because that was the biggest challenge to feeling like I could step away from this and resume a light existence or something.
Right.
And I guess the answer in some, I don't like to be masochistic, but like in some fucked up way, and I'm sorry to say it like that, but is like, but is that, that it was like so, I think the fact that like tonally I would like to think this movie doesn't like tonally hint where it's going, where I think, which can be uncomfortable for the audience too, like you think it's gonna maybe upswing at the end really positively or maybe really tragically like go somewhere, and instead it kind of just is. And I think in that tension, there was like a solace for me, not to be too heady or something, but like, it just was what it was. And I think the fact that, I guess that's what I'm talking about, is like, I wasn't working on some like fucked up thing, Mm-hmm. And I think even for Call Me By Your Name too, I felt a similar thing where even though some scenes could be like more intimate, it was never like salacious or something, so it didn't stay with you in a intense way. But definitely like losing that weight and going home and not being able to eat was like, then you feel it, yeah, and you're like, you just feel like shit, but
yeah, that's pretty. I'd be sad if that was, but of course you're doing it for a very important reason. Are you able to sort of shake off characters fairly easily, stepping in and out?
Yes and no, like, it's one of the reliefs now, and nothing is given, whatever, but like, I'm working on Little Women in Boston right now,
yes,
which
I
is
know
awesome.
You are.
Yeah, and I'm really
might
excited.
Throw a question your way
I'm
about
so excited
that.
for, I feel like it's, so, yes. And and then I'm gonna go do another movie this year, so I feel like, what made it hard, I saw Felix talk about this in a Q&A, like, and I forgot about this. I had said to him in this rap, like, well, back at it now, like, that especially after, sorry, I keep talking about Calling My Name too, but like, especially after that too, when it went, and it felt like it went well, and then to feel like, and I did Lady Bird that summer too anyway, I don't want to be like self-referential or anything, but like, but it did feel like, oh man, like, now I'm gonna go back to the board kind of thing, like, and that's just a little bit nicer now, but definitely I left this feeling like winded, and I was very like prideful or silly or something at the beginning of it, feeling like I'm not gonna emerge on the other side of this, like, oh man, with, or whatever, and yet I was like, oh fuck, that was really hard, and we finished at a place called Red Studios in LA, which is, I guess in like Hancock Park around there, and we finished that day, and I walked home to this apartment, this like little corporate apartment I was staying in, and
give away where you live, Timmy.
No, this is just this is during the movie, and locked myself out 20 times, and like it was like such a crazy walk home. I felt like I had this backpack on, and this is gonna sound anyway, whatever. I just walked home from the stage, and it felt like I didn't work the next day, and I felt like, well, that was that experience, and just kind of like, wow, that was. I knew it was going to be hard, but that's what was difficult too. Like, on other movies, you can sometimes look at the sides or like the call sheet the next day, and you can kind of go like, oh, okay, I'm walking through a doorway today, so I'm going to take it seriously, and I'm going to do a good job and everything.
You make sure you walk through that door.
Yeah, you make sure you do it. No, but you can kind of like, not take it easy in any way, but you can kind of go like, all right, at least I'm not, begging for my father's forgiveness today or something. And on this movie, it was really like, it was there was a little respite. Yeah.
Okay, next question. So This is from Olivia K. Ferguson. What is something important you learned during the process of making this film that you believe is important for others to know about addiction? I feel like you've probably touched on this.
Yes.
I should probably have.
I think I don't know how to phrase it better. Like that it's like the less you know, the more you know, the less you know, and that it's unrecognizable. But that's also a way forward, I think, or it's helped me because I guess how much of life is like realizing you have to open to understand more or something.
Definitely. Okay, next question from Wexler_Maya. Beautiful Boy is an incredible film. Are there any specific ways that you, Timmy, get into character? And how was it different having a real life person to sort of analyze and grow your character off versus playing Elio and other characters who you may have had more freedom in creating?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Like, I feel Steve hung out with David before we started shooting. I hung out with Nick before we started shooting, and I think we both got this incredible. We both felt like this wasn't a biopic. It became clear that David and Nick didn't expect that either. Yeah. And I love that. I love Steve's example is like you don't want the person you're playing to feel like they're your science experiment. And then he always says like you don't want to feel like they're studying how they eat soup. And I always like that he says I feel so random, but so that was like the first clue or something. And then secondly, like I said earlier, I felt like, oh wait, there isn't a bridge to cross here, like find your humanity. And as far as like the, staying in character, getting into character, when I went to a drama high school, like we had Edie Falco come and speak to us once, and I loved it because somebody was like, what's your process? Which is like, that's like the softball for an actor to like give the most pretentious like response in the world. And she was like, I don't know, I just do it. And I was like, yes, like that's it. And
damn, that was my next question.
No. And then so to that point, I don't think there's stuff I do to get into, but I can feel when I'm drifting. And yeah.
Okay. Good answer about your process.
Yes.
I liked it. This is from B-Way Girl 24601.
Shout out Broadway.
What were some of the best things you learned about life or acting from working with Steve Carell?
Okay, twofold. Like acting, he's an improv master, and like even for that diner scene, that's very helpful because he's there's something in that like acting classes like act react, like pinch in the ouch. That's how my drama teacher called it. Like it's more engaging as an audience member if you see somebody get pinched on screen and react to it as opposed to like seeing an actor like figure out everything they're going to do in advance. So he has an improv background, so he's really good at like rolling with whatever. So I feel like I've learned a lot in that regard to try and do the same, and not step out of a scene if it goes another direction, but whatever, try something else. And as a human, man, Steve is like the best guy in the world. Like, and he has that reputation, but it's just true. And like getting out of the van when you go to set, like he opens the door for everyone, he helps everyone out, he closes the door. So I'm like, I'm gonna steal that. Like, I'm gonna do that too.
He really is probably like the nicest man in Hollywood.
Yeah, he really is.
And he gives good hugs. I heard.
Yes,
I have not
he
hugged
does give
him
good
yet.
hugs. No, when I met him, I went straight for the hug. So he was like, no.
So having just portrayed, sorry, this question is from the Aussie Gal _1. Having just portrayed a very real person in Nick Chef, if you had the opportunity to play any other living person, who would it be and why?
Oh man, that's a great question.
Good one, right?
Well, I don't want to give it away because I think I might, cooking a couple things up. No. I'm like, I don't know. Am I kidding? But like,
sometimes you have to put it out in the world.
No. I mean,
just have to send it out there and see what happens.
That's certainly like a big. It's also about getting the ability to because people, they're gatekeepers to everything. But,
absolutely.
But
hypothetically,
we'll see. No.
In a magical place where everything works out.
No, I can't. But
I tried.
No. But that's definitely like a big interest if I had the ability to. Yeah.
Well, then can I follow that up a little bit? Would you perhaps ever do a musical? Because I know there's a lot of musicals being brought back.
No, absolutely. And I think what's so cool about like La La Land and I can't think of.
West Side Story's getting.
I know that's getting remade too. Yeah, but I like this idea that, or maybe like in A Bigger Splash, that sequence of Ray Fiennes is like dancing. It's cool, like this style now where I love Broadway, I love big musicals and everything, but I like that in movies it can be a little more whimsical. Maybe that's a shitty way to describe it, but like.
No, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
It's a bit dreamier, a bit more
Yeah,
playful.
and did they sing the songs live in La La Land? I can't remember. Maybe not, but it did feel very like, yeah, I think they did. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it felt very like real or something.
Like a production that was filmed. For
Yeah, and actually it's funny even in like, credit, don't get mad at me, but like even in Little Women, like there are numbers that are not singing or anything, but which is true to the book too. There are like dancing numbers and things like that. So
that's very exciting. And I do want to sort of throw it forward to, you've got a few movies coming up that I know everyone's very excited for. First, Robert Pattinson in The King.
Yeah.
That is something I studied back in school way back when. How does that? Yeah,
really?
Henry V. Yeah, I did English Lit. Believe it or not.
Yes.
Yeah. So how was that experience doing a movie, a Shakespeare story?
It was incredible, and I am just so excited to see it, but also for everyone to see it. We did, there's a battle in it. There's like a battle sequence, and it's kind of on that day I realized. It's also why I really do feel like so much gratitude for just being able to work and do this stuff. Like to go to the monitor and see the first take of like a battle sequence, and I like watched myself in other things and like in 2-person scenes, whatever. But then to see like running into a battle, like I'm just like, wow, this is so strange. But I'm excited to see it. And Rob is like the coolest. I mean,
he's a nice
what a great
guy.
actor, and
yeah.
And 14-year-old me would have been like, what? So it's cool. Yeah.
And then we're also going to see you hopefully in the untitled Call Me by Your Name sequel.
Yeah. That would be so
I feel
exciting.
like there's a lot of people who would love to know if there's anything you can say about that.
Well, again, like I have no power over I get about as much info as anyone. Like I get it. I see stuff like Andre just did a Q&A in London. Like he said this thing. Like so I get that information. But
Okay.
I think it should be like in space or something, or like No, I'm kidding. That would not be
see this
appropriate.
happening, and this could go to space. Why not? Either way, we should find a way to send Timothee Chalamet into space. It's got to happen. So I think we've got to wrap up, but I just want to say thank you so much. This was a really lovely performance.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for being here and supporting the film, and everyone go off and have a great Sunday.
Yes. Thank you for seeing this, and thank you for saying that, and seriously, not to ramble, but like this, there are a lot of movies out right now. There's like big commercial movies, and I know this, isn't the easiest movie, so thank you for taking time out of your days for seeing it, seriously, and for everybody in the interfloating webs, like seriously, thank you. So
I think it was our pleasure. You can end with that,
Cool.
for sure. All right, well, thank you so much. This was so fun.